Hi, students in Anthropology 307. We're getting back into things here. If you go to your email, check your email, and you'll find out information. Also, you can look on Canvas. If you go to Canvas, you will find that there is an announcement telling you about how we're going to do the rest of the semester. So it says 307 new schedule, and um, all sorts of information. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to have what we call participation assignments, and you can see the first two are coming here Sunday night at midnight. You have to watch part one of the videos that are already online. Part two, which is what you're starting right now. So I'm just telling you this is how it's going to be. Um, and there's other stuff as well. So please read those guidelines, watch the video. I made one for you. It's all good. The second thing about the syllabus here that we need to show you is today I'm going to go over a few different notes. So the ordinary notes on Ghosh are here. Uh, what's it called? 9 Ghosh, because I got Ghosh and McMurray mixed up. But also Palestine and Israel.docx here. We're going to go over that today. Okay? That's what we got. This is how we're starting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the title means in an antique land. And it comes from a poem, what do you call it? A sonnet here by Percy Shelley from, I don't know, probably 1805, something like that, 1810 maybe. Um, I met a traveler from an antique land. Remember, 1798, Napoleon. Um, and so here we are in the next 15, 20 years. We've got Percy Shelley writing poems about the Egyptians. I met a traveler in an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless stones, legs of stone, stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." So you can see here the beginning. Walk through. Sorry. Waiting to walk through until I'm done. I got like 8 more minutes to do here. Here we go. Ozymandias, is a made-up name. It's uh, what's his name? Not Xerxes. Ramses II, who made these huge statues of himself and stuck them all over the place. Um, and oh, I forgot. We got to do some quick. We'll do it later. I'll show you the picture of Ramses II later. In any case, they haven't discovered. I don't know. The Rosetta Stone is like 1830 or something like that, 1840. So they haven't discovered the Rosetta Stones. They haven't figured out how to pronounce these Egyptian names, how to read the hieroglyphics and all that. But it's intensely interesting for Europeans who have created this wonderful civilization, that spans the globe, to come across Egyptian civilization that was once just as powerful. And so he's thinking, hey, what's going to happen when our civilization is over? Is anyone going to remember? What does it matter? What does it matter? And so, really, Ghosh is engaging here with European civilization and its contrast to Egyptian civilization and Arab Islamic civilization. These three different civilizations that we're dealing with and working through here in Egypt. Okay, so we're up to Nishawi. The other thing I'm going to do, talking about how people live and what it's like. I'm going to post another video of a music video actually from a gypsy film called um, oh, I've got it up here. Arab Jews. There we go. Lachodrome, which is a wonderful video. and a wonderful album of music of the Roma people from across the world. In any case, they're going to be doing um, the ones in Egypt are going to play some songs for you, and you'll just see what life is like there in the small towns and villages, how earthy it is. Lots of babies and breastfeeding and stuff like that. Okay, back to Ghosh. Ghosh moves to Nishawi. Remember, Nishawi is the bigger town. Lataifa is the little village. Nishawi is the big town. At some point, Ghosh decided to move to Nishawi, 1.5 miles from Lataifa. Lataifa. These are fake names. I think Nishawi might be real, but Lataifa is fake because you can identify people. He continued to visit in Lataifa, and he tended to visit Sheikh Musa and his family and friends. Imam Ibrahim is one of Sheikh Musa's friends. He belonged to one of the two founding lineages of Lataifa, the Abu Kanaka lineage, which was a lineage of barbers and healers. The city, there's a city in the country here, and so the city lineage doesn't have land; they have skills, and the other lineage has land. The Badawi lineage, made of the Falahin or farmers, the country lineage. Not necessarily they own the land, but they have the rights to it. Their living comes from working the land. The Abu Kanaka lineage is um, the lineage of making your living from work. The Abu Kanaka were religious practitioners. They have no land. When Ghosh visited him, Imam Ibrahim greeted him with full formalities and then showed him his needle and syringe, which he used to practice his traditional medicine. Which is interesting that we understand a needle and syringe to be something that doesn't involve traditional medicine. That's modern medicine, but for him, it's all one and the same. So it's important to remember that our boundaries between tradition and modernity don't necessarily um, match theirs. Okay, so I'm reading here from page 200, this ladder of development. Um, he's trying to figure out he turns up in an unfamiliar situation, and everyone looks at him and says, "Whoa, this is a foreigner." Um, and so they start questioning him. They're trying to find out, should he be here? How did he learn Arabic? What kind of spy is this? We need to report to the Mukhabarat, the secret police. Um, Other people start asking him questions. The questions came even faster. We're on 200 here. Came even faster, even as I was speaking. Are most of your houses still built of mud brick as they are here? Do your people work on gas stoves, or do they still burn straw and wood as we do? Still built of mud brick, still burn a straw and wood. I'm gonna make this big so you can see me and stop looking at the picture at the words. I grew increasingly puzzled as I tried to deal with this barrage of inquiries. First, by the part the word "still" in quotes played in their questions, and secondly, by the masks of incredulity that seemed to fall on their faces as I affirmed over and over again that yes, in India too, people use cattle-drawn plows and not tractors, water wheels and not pumps, donkey carts and not trucks, and yes, in India too, there were many, many people who were very poor. Indeed, there were millions whose poverty they could scarcely have been able to imagine. And it's true. India is poorer than Ghana. It's a very poor country, poorer than many West African states, and Egypt is a lot richer than that, about 2 or 3 times, 4 times as rich, um, on average, right? There were many, many people who were very poor, millions whose poverty they could scarcely have been able to imagine. But to my utter bewilderment, the more I insisted, the more skeptical they seemed to become, until at last I realized, with an overwhelming sense of shock, that the simple truth was that they did not believe what I was saying. I later came to understand that their disbelief had little or nothing to do with what I had said. Rather, they had constructed a certain quote unquote ladder of development in their minds. And because all their images of material life were of those who stood on the rungs above, the circumstances of those below had become more or less unimaginable. They just don't think they're any good at all. It's impossible for anyone to be as poor as us. I had an inkling then of the real and desperate seriousness of their engagement with modernism, because I realized that the Falahin saw the material circumstances of their lives in exactly the same way that a university economist would, as a situation that was shamefully anachronistic, out of a different time, in an antique land, right? A warp upon time. I understood that their relationships with the objects of their everyday lives was never innocent of the knowledge that there were other places, other countries that did not have mud-walled houses and cattle-drawn plows, were unsubstantial things that did not have, so that those objects, those houses and plows, their own, were unsubstantial things, ghosts displaced in time, waiting to be exorcised and laid to rest. They're sitting around waiting to be consolidated onto the dung heap of history, as someone once put it. That's their understanding. And it is what you know, bomb them back to the Stone Age implies as well. Just destroy their lives because they're living in the Stone Age. Okay, we'll pick this up very soon.